streets at night, alone, in a river of darkness.
The world, my final message. Goodbye.
The most recent champion, Garito. The most recent champion,
You can't keep doing this to yourself. She's moved on. Meanwhile, you're out there just walking the streets at night, alone, in a river of darkness.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
Welcome back, everybody. My name's Infernosis, joined here now by Treasury. Wilku has taken the back seat in this one. We're joined here by Treasury. Thank you very much for joining me. This is NECC here in Week 6 of R6. We've got another Champions Division matchup for you guys today. UC San Diego versus Marymount, California. And it's a tale of two opposite sides here. Marymount has struggled to get something underneath them so far. They are coming into this one with 5 losses. Hoping to switch things up, but UC San Diego coming in with only 4 wins and 1 loss, losing to the team that just won the game previously, Buffalo Alpha, losing to them 0-2. Not a shocker considering how dominant we just watched Buffalo be. Nonetheless, Treasure, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm gonna watch a lot of great Rainbow6 today, and I'm happy to add another one here on the roster before the end of the night. And I've seen Marymount, California before in competition. I was not unimpressed, so I don't think that while having like sort of a rough record so far in this season, I think they can bring a lot of that of value to the table for us to see. And San Diego has just they're almost unanswerable from their competition. So it'll be great to get this masterclass from them this map.
And
Right
I
off the
believe
bat here. Oh,
Sorry, I'll just go ahead and send us into it immediately. We'll have this pretty ready to go into it. We can talk as we go into it. So if you want to send us in, we'll talk about it as
yeah.
we go. We're starting
Yeah.
off on what maps here, Treasury?
Oh, this is my turn. We're gonna head here into Oregon, which is one of my favorite maps. I know it's a little bit stock, typically seen that way, but I like the opportunities it has for a team to really show their colors. There's a lot of different ways to tackle this map, and I think it really tests your fundamentals for either side. And so I think it'll be a nice chance to see UC San Diego and then MCU just trade off, showing us their attacks and defensive strategies, and see what they've decided to do with it.
I think it's a good thing to keep in mind. We do have to worry about how this one's going to go. Like you said, it's fairly standard. It's something that's not going to be very large in variation, I guess, is kind of the way that you can term that in a weird way, is the way my English fails to comprehend it late at night. But It's going to be standard. There's nothing going to be too wide. It's not going to have some weird bans. We have Thatcher, and it's just a guarantee the way that he is with those EMP grenades. Second ban, if we don't see a Maverick, then, Kaid won't be banned either, so we're probably seeing something like a Wamai for that basement hold. Second ban will, in fact, be a Jackal. So this is an interesting decision here from the San Diego side. So not sure exactly, but we shouldn't see a Kaid get banned out here because Maverick does counter the Kaid, so there is no need to ban him out. But more than likely, we'll see that Mira. More than likely, may see a Wamai instead. It's kind of strong on basement. What do you think?
I think that's a pretty accurate call for the most part. I like this take on getting rid of some of that intel. Valkyrie's pretty strong all the way through basement and upstairs. Just adding a lot of intel that's kind of hard to zero in on, especially looking at like trophy side and on the bunk sites. Definitely in bunker in the basement, she can just add a lot of value there. Mira is always just going to be an oppressive operator. She's great on electrical box in the basement. She's great holding on just about any number of lines of sight on the first floor and second floor. So you can really do a lot with her, and we're going to keep that out of here for now. It's going to be a little too much for the attackers to have to deal with. But we will see that Wamai staying up, like you were mentioning. So we're going to see a lot of grenade denial possibly from the defense. Starting up, we're going upstairs.
Yeah, starting on the second floor, it's not shocking to not see Wamai in play. It is kind of shocking, however, to see the Maverick not be picked up by the attack. This is going to be very difficult. We do have the Wamai getting 6 picked over to. It's not exactly the strongest when it comes to the second floor. It is stronger than the first floors, but it's strongest on the basement. Those pancakes are going to be thrown inside of attic. We are seeing the Maverick get switched over to. Kaid was seen in that reveal phase, so they are aware of that presence. You have to switch off. There's no choice. So you're going to see that Maverick be like that pivotal portion to really deny. You can see, because we're going to see Electro Claws on the games room wall and that attic wall, so we're more than likely going to see Ace being the one to head towards walk-in closet. We are more than likely going to see the Maverick in Big Tower. Your mainline support or attack you see in Big Tower is going to be usually an Ace, a Zilphia, and a Nomad. But this time around, to get that Electro Claw, we're more than likely going to see Maverick, Zilphia, and Nomad over there, and then Ash and Ace on the opposite side of walk-in. And that's to clear out the floor. It'll be a little unsafe for Anubis to step in there to actually shoot out the Electro Claw, not able to just shoot it and clear it like a Bandit Battery or Mute Jammer. But the main goal is the same. Be able to breach that out, catch it off guard, and remove that Electro Claw so you can actually breach inside and take that north to south pincer into the objective.
Yeah, already those drone placements on the beginning of prep phase are speaking to Infernosis being pretty close here, so that was some great calls on his side. I'm liking on the defense setup here. That Goyo, I'm always a fan of seeing Goyo come up. He's obviously very strong, and the devs have taken note of that, so we'll be seeing a loss of those shields coming up. But for now, we do have 2 shields on 1 operator and a lot of area denial with a great vector. Looks like Ape is going to take that on the roam, and he's playing peekaboo with Ace all the way over here in Big Tower. But his gadgets will serve to do a great job for his team, holding down some angles, making sure that they've got some mobile cover there to hold up those angles in sight.
I am not really sure what I just witnessed, but a firefight will ensue from Kitchen on that green hallway. Console will win that one out, and that'll be the Zilphia taking that one in stride. We are seeing that Maverick inside of Big Tower. Goyo, who's already taken that L and, removed from this round. It's not a very detrimental pick. He's done his job. He's put those Vulcan shields down. Oh, he should have at least. Well, I can't really confirm that, but those should be down at this point in the stage, so it's not a huge deal, but you have a Legion as your main person to kind of hold that attic. I think this is more of a comfort pick and not really a pick in a way of coherent strategy. I think it's mostly because they prefer that T5 SMG and slowing down the opposition in return of not really going for those picks. But it looks like they're going to breach out the stay alive wall instead of actually going walk-in. They may have gone walk-in, I'm not too sure, but they have fully taken out the wall of attic as well. Jones will come through. Score going to need to take a step back. That stay alive wall that has been taken as well. He'll take damage trying to step away, but Anubis will not be able to finish off the kill just yet.
That was a bit of an oversight walking right there through the hole that Anubis had just gotten opened up alongside Reaps. And that's looking really solid for UC San Diego. They've got just about all of the walls open that they need. However, Hope Banshee's actually going to get that second pick there, taking Reaps off the board, making sure they doesn't open up anything else. He's already done enough damage. But UC San Diego is pushing up that attack, making sure that they play safely and take as few gunfights as they can to get all the way up to site.
This wall between the actual kids' dorms and the attic side is going to be pretty pivotal. Console finding out Crazy Man. Smashers is really trying to stay safe in the back side. He's going to be in a little bit of a tough situation, and that push that's going to come from the attic hard wall will be hard to kind of hold on to. Ace will start the diffuser placement. That's going to be in that corner default of Games Room. Wamai behind the bunk itself. He's trying to catch players off guard, but it'll be Charles who finds Smashers instead. Score falling to Console. Hope will take the refrag onto Console, but he's the last man standing now, and it's not going to matter. Hope will fall, and a round one will go in favor of UC San Diego, and they're going to take that one, and predictability, that's the name of the game for Oregon. It's exactly what we saw. I mean, I called it tit for tat for the exact strategy that's going to come through that pincer. It's just guaranteed. We'll need a pause for Charles for the UC Davis side. UC San Diego side. I see a D in there. I just immediately assume it's them because I've casted them for 3 different games before. But very standard push. You can call it out exactly. We joked about it before. I joked about it with our observer. I joked about it with our producer. Just some days you're able to predict absolutely everything. Every day you can predict absolutely everything in Oregon. I've seen one team that's did something different in regards to like actual strategy, and it was just weird. It didn't work either. So
overall, I think what kind of spelled the defeat that round, Marymount, apart from Ape, and kudos to Ape for playing very forward. The rest of his team kind of playing a little too safe, almost playing scared. I don't think there's any reason that UC San Diego should be able to get so deep into site, get a full plant down, having only lost 1 operator with, I think, 3 operators on the defense still up, all just in the back corner of kids' dormitory and the dormitory objective. Really not pushing out, just avoiding fights a little too hard. At that point, you can hold angles, you can play safe without, getting your head lopped off. You just gotta choose your angle and play it safe. And that, I think, was just what was missing that round.
yeah, it's definitely one to keep in mind. I think there's a big concern now if you are on the defensive side of Marymount, California, right? You had a good stride. You did lose your beginning Goyo at the very beginning, which was unfortunate, right? They weren't able to kind of get a frag and then step back. Honestly, they should have just taken it all the way back, right? You got spotted out. You're not really going to win that fight at that green hallway with the Vector. It's just you're not going to hit that shot, right? I mean, it's just not going to happen 9 times out of 10. If you're really good, you can hit those shots, and the Vector's a phenomenal weapon, but it does take some pretty precise on-the-spot shots for that to be able to do it, but couldn't handle it, goes the other direction. Player down at the very beginning, now what you want to have. Maybe think it through a little bit more. So you had a great crossfire at the beginning. We saw the kill that came through that walk-in closet where they stepped in through that games room wall, shot from backside of bunk, will take the kill. You had the players that were situated inside of the dorms room, that kid's dorm. You had them situated in there really holding their own. The issue was that pushing from the attic side caught them off guard. They were trying to go to the position to play for the post plant, but they couldn't get it because they hadn't cleared attic. They need to clear out their backsides before they're able to try and take the front line of the opposition. And that's really what it came down to. They got dismantled because they didn't clear out their and keep their sides safe in the process.
Yeah, I think it's just a lack of that coordination with the players on the anchor, and that's just allowing UC San Diego to get up in there. Hopefully, we'll see it turn around here. Of course, that's just round 1, but it will kind of set the stage for what we see for the rest of the map. Looks like Ubisoft is not on our side today. Might have to do a full rehost here, so we might have a little bit more chill time here with the 2 of us. Just, taking apart every detail of that last map.
Round 1, really digesting round 1 here.
Yeah,
we can talk a little bit about what's going to go into here into the next one, right? For basement objective, let's talk and kind of, he's returned now, so this is great timing.
Ooh.
We can kind of talk about like what you predict is going to happen and come into this one. Basement's really just utility consumption simulator. It was that did kind of get nerfed a little bit with the ADS nerf coming through and a lot of all of that. This is where you're going to see Wamai's guarantee pancakes on the basement floor towards that barrel-sided construction. Phenomenal to behold. Great placement. Play the Wamai himself in pillar or inside a freezer, and you've got yourself a great defensive presence. The question here is, will the attacking side go through barrels, go through big tower and barrels, and take that pillar side, or will they step in and do the laundry and freezer side split?
I think they've got a lot of options open. We see that Ying is really well tailored for going in towards blue bunker. She's able to just flash out anyone behind those shields, which is always just a great start to the round. With all that utility there on the defense, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that. We got Goya with those shields. That's probably a shield playing in bunker. If not, it's probably really saddling up by the pillar and by laundry room. Depending on if they go for that blue play. There's no smoke, which you're commonly going to see. That is hard countered by the Ying, though, so maybe that's just a nice thing for Marymount, is that they're not going to have a smoke that just gets blown out by a Ying. Overall, I think we're going to be looking at that big tower side push, split up with the Ying and probably Reaps and either Console QAQ or Anubis just to help get rid of all of those ADSs and Wamais that are probably going to be set up there. The rest of the team heading for big tower. There is no elbow hold, so that will makes a bit of sense not having that smoke, like I mentioned.
But you have a Goyo shield. The Vulcan shields are in play. No L bunker hold, and that's free reign. I mean, the Kaid obviously will make it difficult, but that's countered easily by a Maverick, which you have. That is going to be the pivotal point for San Diego to step inward and take. I would be shocked if they don't, because that wall is all for the taking.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of free real estate. There's no player in there even just playing to die. That does save a lot of utility for a little bit deeper in. A lot of those ADSs and Wamai magnets are going to be there. Crazy Man already taken some damage here. Because of UC San Diego being able to move up without any resistance up here through blue, they've already lost their pillar player, and that is one of the most pivotal power points on the entire map. So that's going to be a big loss to have for MCU already. And it looks like Reaps is getting his heart breaching done. No resistance to it. This is a really effective first minute for UC San Diego.
It's going to be difficult as well to kind of figure out where to go from here. Smashers, of course, is situated in that southernmost side of the B supply room. But the problem is, if that Maverick does make the rotation, if Charles does make that walkway over, the first place he's going to go to look for the Electro Claws at the top, and then the second one should be at the bottom. And if he looks to the bottom, you better hope that you win that firefight to shoot at him before he can shoot at you, because he'll have sightline on your toes. Hopefully, he'd bring a little bit of support player to be able to help him out so he can do it safely and have them take the shot instead, which would guarantee their success. But it looks like they're going to go and breach that north side wall of that B objective instead. They want to try to take E-Box as well. Shots will go across score, look worse for wear. They're kind of rubbing into each other at the moment. A plant could come down. They do have a Nitro Cell still in the hands of Ape, who had died first the round previously. But will it be enough of a toss-over? Score falling from Anubis in the backside. Freezer will not be a hold for the opposition. San Diego has a good chance here.
You see San Diego is taking it slow here, getting this plant without much resistance. They've got the lines of sight to make sure that Jaeger isn't able to do anything, and Smashers is just getting flashed out. He doesn't have Ape behind him anymore, and there's a first down for MCU, but nothing for Smashers. Hope Banshee's left as the only player not going to have time to res this score. He's got one, but there isn't any more. That's going to be it. Anubis finishing off this score. Well, Console taking out Hope Banshee is actually the last frag there with the last player on the ground. They're just not losing gunfights. UC San Diego is not letting Marymount, California get that damage or even get those kills. It's looking very San Diego heavy on the gunfight so far.
And R6 is a very defensive-sided game. Just plain and simple. It's defensive-sided. There's nothing to be said about it. R6 is blatantly defensive-sided. That will never change. It's not something you're going to see happen. R6 will always be in that direction. And right now, the attack's up 2-0. None of the objectives they tried, those two main objectives that worked for them, they're going to opt to go back up to the second floor for the kids in Dorm's room. But that's really all you have. That bunk bed hold was your best chance the last time you were here. It had found you 2 kills. And the rotation background just didn't work. Holding inside of the kid's room didn't work either, because you didn't cover your flank and attic. I'm expecting either we'll see San Diego do the exact same thing and completely decimate them once again, or they'll take an aggressive stance up Armory Hallway to Trophy, and they'll take Big Window, which is just a completely different pincer, west to east instead of that north to south kind of normal push.
I like that we're seeing a little bit of an answer towards some of the shortcomings of the operator lineup last round. You mentioned that Legion was maybe a bit more of a comfort pick than really an effective one for the position. And we see Smashers that switched off that smoke, which is really commonly played up here in Attic, because you can get that shield and the smoke grenades really just stimmy that attack for quite a while, just slowing down the Hard Breacher and his support who have gone through Attic and Big Tower. So that might actually prove to slow down some more time. And that additional shield is always a nice thing to have. I imagine we'll see a very similar push from UC San Diego, though.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously see them kind of taking the same stance. Usually you might see kind of your Nomad just kind of can go back and forth, kind of play whatever they do. Once they place those air jabs on those big tower stairs, their job's kind of done. Really, it's out to Console, your Sophia, to really watch the flank at that point around. Like, they're going to be the person hanging out. Their job is to watch the rear, physically watch the rear, and not just be passively watching the rear like the air jab's responsibility is. But if you do take a look, you do have players nearby kind of there for the counting. Ape's in a firefight already with Ace, and he got the better of it in the initial engagement, but that player is still over there. Ape's going to go ahead and take the step back. This is the smart decision. He didn't win the initial fight, where he won it in terms of getting damage on the opponent. He didn't get the kill, but he doesn't need to. His presence is known. That slows down the pace, and already that minute has been bought, which is all you're needing to have done.
Yeah, and just to speak to the efficacy of that, Anubis had to go all the way into the basement to look for him. They were trying to pinch him out, and since they didn't have someone to go through Freezer's stairway to look for him there, Ape got out scot-free and did take all of that time from two different operators. Ace and Anubis had to just keep their eyes open, and they still know that he's on the board and could come out anywhere. The score getting the first frag, that's the first time first frag has gone to MCU. That's going to be pretty important for them. And Ape has got himself in a position where he can watch underneath the games room wall, make sure that no one gets in without him having a say in it. And this is already looking like a much more effective roam than we've seen in the previous two rounds.
The issue is the roam denial is not yet over, unlike the scorer who is actually dead from Charles. Ace is on the prowl, will actually catch, but no, honestly, Ape will somehow win that engagement. Ace will fall, and it's already now MCU taking back the one-man advantage after just having lost it, losing the score, and he's got the sight line over again onto that games room wall. It's going to be hard for him to step forward. He accidentally gives away his position. Reaps is going to be wary of that position. But a smart decision there by Ape to actually step away. He'll peek it again, but it's not going to matter. Be won by the opposition, but Smashers has already helped out. Charles will fall into this fight in a 2v3. Reaps is holding inside of this closet, looking towards the attic side. Meanwhile, Anubis has the aggressive stance coming from inside of Trophy. They're on site. At least one of them really and truly is. He'll smoke off the sight line towards that bunk we have talked about previously, and that will give a bit of support. Shots connected from Anubis on a crazy man. One player in attic will toss a toxic babe, and Reaps will reap what he sows, will go down from it. It does what it does best, and Smashers finds the kill. Anubis last man standing. He finds Hope Banshee in a 1v1 now, peeking it, and it's going to be Smashers facing off against him. He's in a big, bad situation. Anubis needs to find the kill. 15 seconds on the clock. Here, rotate now through attic, but it won't be enough. Smashers will fall as Anubis will take that one. Smashers just not aware of the audio cues and does not turn in the right direction.
Smashers, a great smoke. Actually, just snatching victory potentially from the jaws of defeat, but it wasn't there in the clutch. His teammate falling right in front of him. He had that Mossberg. It was a great angle to be holding, and he had the smokes in his pocket too. He could have held down a little more real estate, played a little more patiently, but sometimes if you don't catch the audio, you'll start running in a gunfight, and that never turns out well.
Is not what you want to see. I do think that it was kind of the right decision for the Valkyrie to be banned out. I don't necessarily remember. Do you have that written down to who banned that? I do know who banned that. It was UC San Diego. That's the best decision they made the entire time. Marymount, California, if they had information, they'd be winning more leagues. And not having access to that information by removing Valkyrie is pivotal. Because now you don't want to bring a Maestro. You don't want to bring a Mozzie because you don't have that three dynamic duos of information. You don't have the Valkyrie to bring in tow as well. And that's going to be a huge deficit. That MPX wielding Valkyrie that she is huge in terms of information gathering, and also huge in terms of the fact that she's got a strong weapon and is fairly mobile. She can be a roamer because once she's dead, you know what she can do the entire day? Just sit and press Q and E. Q and E, Q and E, oh, he's right there. Oh, he's right there. I don't got to ping him because this is competitive. I'm playing in an actual environment. I can just tell them, this dude's in a call with me. He's probably right next to me inside of our mainframe room we're hanging out in right now. I mean, it's not hard to get that information going. So a Valkyrie in play, if somebody dies, which we've seen Marymount, California have a couple of them die. Well, that's somebody that's able to give you that information ahead of time, and it's something to keep an eye out. Melee holes made inside of that wall between meeting and the big tower. That's a way to kind of scare the opposition and not want to peek that. It's effective as like 5-10 seconds of time bot, but that's really all you're going to get out of it.
Yeah, I like seeing Ape keeping it mixing up. He's our primary roam that we're seeing from Marymount, California. He's taken out, though, by Anubis. Anubis isn't going to let him take any more time out of his day after last round. So he's going to put that down early. But Ape has managed to be a distraction for some amount of time. Looks like, is that Ace on the Nomad? Yeah. Has had to go and check for him. He's, just been a constant threat, just buggering out of places that they don't expect him. So they definitely have to make sure that he's not there. Looks like there's some kind of mind game going on here between Charles and the score. Not quite sure what's going on there, but the score is poised here, giving away his position, but taking out that drone. That definitely is going to put a little bit more pressure on Charles here to make sure he does his job. And as soon as this is tricked, potentially score could be going for this wall bang.
Nitro cell
little does he know.
He has a nitro cell in hand. The top half of that wall is not electroclawed. Shoot your own electroclaw if you're that scared. Toss the nitro cell, bust it. Maverick's gone.
Here comes that nitro cell. Is it? I think it went a little too high. I think that's gonna. Oh no!
And he hurts himself.
Self-damage. The score you had.
Yeah. A player will be down. Console's inside a big tower. I think he fell off the top and went down into the stairwell. So he'll down himself. He dropped down to that 20 HP number. So a little bit of a negative, but you do still have all of your players standing, unlike the Marymount, California side. And just as to say, a caster's curse, Console will fall. They lost their HP, and now they've lost all of it straight down to 0. No chance again. Ace is going to be wary of that actual bunk push. You do have the players coming up white stairs. It's going to be Anubis trying to watch on the prowl. But it'll be Score who finds Charles. You've lost that Maverick player. Attic has been dismantled. No chance of that pincer maneuver. And now everything you have coming for you is coming from that south side. Reap's taking damage in a firefight. I believe that's Crazy Man going in that direction. And nothing's really coming up. 30 seconds on the clock. Not much time for the attack to really get inside and plant. And you do still have nitro cells in hands of the Marymount, California side, as well as 2 toxic babes. Ace getting a firefight. It'll actually connect. Smashers falls. No toxic babes standing, but Reaps what he sell. He falls to Crazy Man. They'll need to pick up the diffuser and start the plant. Ace on the refrag. He'll take Crazy Man in tow. He starts the diffuser placement with a rush. Hope will deny it. No chance now. Anubis onto the score, but Hope found Ace in return, and Hope finds another. The last Hope, literally, for their side, and they'll take their first defensive round win. Extremely close for both sides. It could have gone either way.
It looks like the round previous, but without the numbers advantage that Marymount, California had before. They didn't get as much time wasting on the first half. They didn't have 8 poised below to stop that game's room push. But just a couple of really nice plays between Hope Banshee and the score made all the difference. Those were just pivotal moments. When the score is able to take out both of those Attic players, that meant that they could be fully focused on the games room side of the map where everything was coming from. And not being pushed into that corner by a pincer movement is a really just totally different world for the defense to have to be playing there. Of course, Hope Banshee made it all possible with that phenomenal clutch, taking out that defuse and netting himself that last kill in the end, even though he could have left it to time.
Yeah, extremely close. I mean, really, that's all it came down to. Like I said, it could have gone either way. Hope Banshee, really the last hope. I mean, it was a pun in the terms of the name at the time, but it quite literally was it as well. And phenomenal showing, great use of impact to clear out a wall, stepping inside of games. They left that wall soft for a reason, because it's a sightline from Bunk, and it's a way to actually rotate later into the round. Great job. That's exactly the reason why you leave it soft, whether they realize that or not. It's exactly what happened, but they're going to opt for a mute jammer this time around. They're not going to bring the Kaid here in the basement, and they're going to go ahead and mute jammer out that wall. This makes it that much easier for Maverick to kind of clear that out. It's a lot more obvious, because once they know a Kaid's not in play, well, it's going to be in one spot and one spot only. Just clear that out, have an extra person kind of there support like I talked about earlier, and then you're done. It's the same thing that we've seen UC San Diego do in that big tower, that extra support coming from that Zofia player from Console. all with the support of Charles trying to clear out the wall. You're going to see the same thing here. But Anubis taking the same stance we saw previously, aggressive stance coming from that barrel side. He's going to try and find yet another pick towards Pillar. He catches sight of one, but it does not lead to anything.
Anubis knows no fear, and with these drones ahead of him telling him that bunker is clear yet again, he can just step right up, wait for these frags to come to him. He knows that there's a couple players here on Pillar, and he is hungry for him. As soon as he gets a console here in position, this will be an entirely just deadly area with these two really effective gunners watching Pillars. Ape is in a tight spot here, and Smashers. I think after seeing that first round blowout, it's a weird decision to have Smasher on that smoke and not go for the extension. Even for a conservative extension, like throw a couple smokes and get out of there, you're buying yourself a lot of time, and you're not letting Anubis just sprint on in there and attack on Pillars. And now the Pillars is totally gone. They've lost the shield, they've lost their players there. So now it's all about holding this E-box door.
Be difficult as well. You see San Diego done a phenomenal job of pushing it aggressively. Only had a minute of bot time to go from the other side, but Ape will fall first. That's Anubis in the aggressive stance. He's lying down prone, has a silent across as the flashes will connect. Crazy Man will connect, however, on the other opposite side. Console will die, and it looks like they're actually going to start to breach out another surface of the wall. This one connecting them into the actual bunker side. 2 kills for the blue team. Ace and Anubis finding out of the opposition, but Hope Banshee will refrag Charles. Anubis will fall as well. This one has not been cleaned up. It looks like that one's Hope that is managing to do that. He will finish off the kill into Anubis, and a 2v2 is underway. Score on the rotate from behind, however, could be devastating, but Hope Banshee will reaps, and no, he'll fall. Ace will find the kill, watching the flank. Phenomenal job as the Nomad to do exactly their job, but a 1v1 Hope v Ace. And Ace is really going to need to find this one in stride. Can Hope find this kill as well? He's already found 9 kills to his name, really carrying his side through this one. And it looks like Ace is actually droning out, trying to gather information. Hope is buying time. He does get spotted out, so Ace is looking towards that direction. He might actually catch him here. No, he looks away on the opposite side. He's going to step inside now into the B objective. Turning around to grab the diffuser will start the plant. It could be a bait. Hope has not opted to push forward just yet. Ace is still not deciding whether or not to plant. He's going to take the prowl coming forward. He's actually going to push for this kill, I think. I don't think he's going to go for the plant. He's going to catch the backside. Hope falls, and Ace will find the kill in UC San Diego in a close matchup. Take round 5.
Just another really close one. Hope Banshee coming down to that rematch against Ace. Both doing phenomenal work for their teams. But without the intel, like we were talking about before, there's just nothing for Marymount to do. His teammates couldn't feed any information to Hope Banshee, so he was stuck on his own. And Ace had that intel. He had that drone. He had full knowledge of where Hope Banshee was after that, and even could have gotten that the defuse placed. Hope Banshee was still pre-firing the hallway when he was halfway done with the diffuser, so that would have been an easy win regardless.
Reeves is commenting on the Aruni for a second there. I don't think Aruni is allowed here in the current rules that we have for this. But he was apparently in the menu. He was in the settings, maybe changing its sensitivity, not liking where it was. So he switched off. We're gonna head back to the Legion in play. That's gonna be the score back on that. The score actually, from what I remember correctly, does actually play quite a bit of Legion, and I definitely know that Hope played a lot of Malusi and Wamai. I remember this specifically, and the more I watch them, the more I do get to remember this. Hope is still doing exactly what Hope did before. Hope, I believe, was voted in for possible player of the week multiple times in terms of actually being a strong player. They may not have won their games, but he was kind of that pivotal player that his entire team rotates and plays around. And it's worked so far in this one. They're only behind by 3, which is still a bad statement to say, and UC San Diego does definitely have the lead, and they do also have the top fragger. Anubar dropping 10 kills alone with only 3 deaths and 3 assists to his name. So a very phenomenal showing. I'm going to see if that's going to continue. Anubis on the aggressive stance once again through barrels will clear out this blue reinforcement and then decide to step forward. Will that pillar play be held? It does not look like MCU is going to decide to hold it this time.
Anubis is just not going to face a single thing in his way all the way up past pillar. They're giving him too much. They're handing it to him. He's already a crazy fragger, and giving him all this real estate to work with, he's just going to be able to maneuver this into more and more kills as his teammates drone him out. And he's going to allow Console to run down here on Big Tower Stairs here real quick without really having to deal with anything. Ape is putting on a little bit of threat upstairs, but it looks like San Diego's overall choosing to ignore that, focusing more on site.
Anubis taking an aggressive angle. This is that kind of peak between the actual bomb itself and that little shelving unit. He'll find the kill as well. He will get refragged by Hope. Their last hope to take that one in stride, and it will go in his direction. So they traded tit for tat. I argue that MCU definitely got the better end of that one. However, Ape will fall to Reaps, and it'll be a 4v3. You're a man down in the situation, and now you're another one. 2 frags back-to-back. Console finding the score in Smashers. It's just Hope Banshee left. He'll find Reaps to deny the plant, but a rush will come around the corner. He finds it, connects on the Console, and the rush will come, a pistol in hand to try and find it, but it won't matter. The crossfire, and Charles will find the kill. UC San Diego take round 6.
I love the Hope Banshee will just always play to his outs. He ran out there with a Keratos and 2 rounds in the chamber. Just ready to take on anything regardless of the situation. He's ready to do it for his team, but he just needs his team to slow it down a little more. Like, at least give him more of a fighting chance going into the end. Because he's proven he can take stupid fights. But he's having to take stupid fights, you know? Like, I gotta say, it's just being sent in that position every single time, and he can't just clutch out against all of these phenomenal players on UC San Diego on his own.
Difficulty. It is going to be the switch. We do finally see, we're going to have to see, I guess I should say, if the UC side can actually handle it out on defense as well as offense. This is a defense-sided game. There was probably only, 1 map, maybe 2 maps that are attacker-sided, and even then it's really just back and forth. It just comes down to who frags the most, really. It's not even that. Yeah. It's just because the attackers have arguably better guns, right?
Yeah.
Oh, why are we starting off on this tertiary objective? Oh, okay, well, here's what I'm going to say. This is my favorite objective on this map. I love this objective, because everything is pivotal. They're faking! They're faking! Please tell me they're faking. I would lose it if this is true. If this is actually... No, they might just be reinforcing the second floor.
Up there.
Yeah.
Do you think that was... How many reinforcements just went up? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5...
It's not too strange to see reinforcements on the second floor. It is strange to see all 5 of them up there to reinforce the second floor. That's the strange part.
There's Banshees going up here. There's a Goyo. I think we got ADSs set up there, an attic as well. This is the full fake site. Complete with the Malusi roaming out on small tower.
What is it?
Got all the fixins.
What is it like? Are they really trying to go? I mean, they must feel confident. I mean, they are 2 rounds away from winning it, right? If they can do it, they are 2 rounds away from winning it on a defensive-sided game. Do they really think that they're going to be able to pull it off? If they do, I want this entire round clipped. I want this in a montage for just shenanigans inside of competitive.
Hey, there's the first down for the score.
Downed, but not outs. So technically, they're still good. But if Anubis does die, that's a huge negative since he is their top fragger and basically their hard carry.
Teammates are still a bit distant. Is that Malusi running? No, not a shotgun. Okay. I'm not sure what I was doing that for.
Shotgun? Excuse me?
Okay, it looks like Anubis has finally come back up. It looks like MCU has fully fallen for the bait. It looks like a very cohesive attack on second floor. Oh, man. And they're just not letting him have anything. UC San Diego, 3 frags on the charts already. Ape is able to keep Console off of him. That's the first frag since Anubis was not finished. Ape and Crazy Man still they got to deal with 2 each. And now down to Ape. He's got to deal with 4 regardless of what side it is. It's a lot for him to have to do.
Yeah, this is not what you want to see if you are an MCU fan, right? Listen, this is for MCU fans. This is arguably just as bad as the last scene in the newest Avengers film. So it's not looking so hard to see them fall for something like this. And the worst part about this, and this is just going to be fact, not fiction in this situation, they can bait out the next objective as well. They can go into this next one and go, hey, they think we're up on the second floor. They think we're in kids in dorms. We can actually go there next time and then fake it for a tertiary objective or fake it for basement or something like that. You can fake it again. You can fake the fake because they don't think that you can go back to the second floor. However, Ape is going to be on this outside window outside the kid's room. I'm not necessarily sure he can actually see an objective in that direction, but if he knows where the objectives usually are situated, he could notice that, hey, I haven't actually seen it yet. This could be bad, and there is nobody up there. A toxic bait will be tossed. It will go through the floor, a little bit of a sight line, but it does look like Ape may have actually caught on to this. He's going to step forward. He does spot it. It does show in the kill feed for a second there. You can kind of see it come through, and it's going to show that the objective is... No, he actually doesn't turn towards it. Oh, he turns towards it now. Okay.
Marymount might not know still. Just... When it comes down to it, it's basically just playing second floor again, with the added amusement of the objective actually being downstairs. But that upstairs hold from San Diego just had no room for error. Marymount, California could not get in, barely even getting into the building for most of their operators, and definitely letting Anubis still kick around after getting down was fatal for a couple operators.
I don't think kicking is the right term, honestly. I think that this is called punting, right? Like, there's a difference between kicking a ball and punting it. I think what we're saying right now is punting. They are taking every single step of aggression. The UC side has completely just taken every step towards aggression. We did see at the very beginning, Anubis got downed. The score is the person who got in there and swiftly took out that bottom side playroom and was able to take that down. It didn't finish the kill. And it comes back to bite them in the rear because when they take aggressive stance to kind of go in for that, they get swept, and that's exactly what happened. UC San Diego, they're going to opt to actually reinforce up here and actually defend this one. They know they're not going to fool them this time around. No chance.
Besides the meme entirely, they just gave themselves 2 second floor rounds in a row by doing that. Obviously, their preferred objective, and getting to play it twice for free, that's one heck of a boon right there. And it's... I'm sure going to be their favorite way to go on through here with this match point. Definitely their most comfortable objective, and they've got the full lineup for it once again. Alternatively, on MCU, there's an interesting pick here from the score going for that lion, trying to stimmy some of that aggression. Because as you mentioned, UC San Diego just was unrelenting with it last round.
It's definitely something to keep an eye out for. I am worried for the MCU side in this round. It is match point. A 6-1 scoreline could swiftly become that 7-1. And Console is playing some dirty, dirty tricks right now. And a bullet hole peek, that's on that stay alive wall. He's going to have a direct angle between that all the way into master bedroom and out onto that outside, awning or veranda, whatever you want to call it, right to that master bedroom. Could be devastating. Ape's going to be the first person it looks like to actually fall into it. And Console has a visual. He will shoot out the drone, giving slightly a position that he is around there, and it will be enough to force them to kind of step away. They do not want to take that angle. They're going to opt to head all the way back around, possibly even go support in Big Tower, because it looks like everyone for the MCU side is going to Avengers assemble themselves over on the northern side of the map.
Interesting. They've abandoned Attic at this point. They have everything that they need to take that mute jammer off of the wall. They know that there's a mute jammer on that wall, but it looks like we're not going for master bedroom, and we're not really going for Attic. Marymount is going to have to get some really good progress here really soon up these stairs, because there's a minute and a half left. And they're barely in the building. The score's down, Smasher's down, Anubis is just wrecking more and more havoc. Adept with that 416C in his hands. Marymount's looking a little lost here, and match point is the last time you want to be feeling that way.
Honestly, it's kind of like just trying to stop the bleeding. There's nothing much they can really do in this situation. It is a semi-lost cause, I would say. You're not necessarily going to make the comeback, kind of play for the next round. Get some... I don't want to call them pity kills, but really it's just kind of an added bonus to an already negative kind of map. Play for the next one. You got Cafe, that's a lot more standard of a map, I guess. It can be different in a lot of ways. I think MCU's kind of defensive hold could have a pretty big presence on there, but I'll tell you won't is going to be Ape right now. Nice Nitro Cell toss from the upside of Attic. Hope now the last one standing will be able to find Ace and finish off the kill with the Bearing 9 in pocket. But they're looking to finish this one off, but it won't seem to matter. Reaps will be the reaper of the situation, finding Hope through the hole inside of that kid's room on the second floor. Shotgun in hand will decimate the opposition. Good half, good round, I guess you could say, for that one. The good map is over. UC San Diego will take that one, a 7-1. And we're going to have to see how Cafe will fare. A much different map and all around in terms, basically not similar at all to this map in any way whatsoever. It is very standard for your kind of push, but the push is standard for every single objective except for one. That kitchen side service and cooking is the only place you're really seeing a different type of push. Most of the time it's just roof, take that the red stairs hatch, take cigar lounge, clear third floor. Whether the objective's on third floor or not, you really just clear third floor and then play from there. That's really just what it comes down to. We'll have to see how it pans out. However, we'll head to a quick, I believe, 5-minute break in between. We'll run some ads in between to give the players a break and us casters a break. We will catch you guys just shortly. We'll catch you real soon.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Infernosis, and I'm joined here once again by Treasury. Thank you very much, Treasury, for joining me. And we're going to make our way over to the second map of this matchup, the UC San Diego versus Marymount, California. And San Diego really took that last map in stride, completely sweeping out in that game. It was quite a spectacle to watch, but nonetheless, we're going to be heading to my least favorite map in human existence, and that's literally better than Tower and Favila and Bartlett. It's Cafe Dostoyevsky.
That's a
So
strong
we're going to
opinion.
have a real grand old time. But Treasury, how you doing? What are we looking forward to this match, and what do you think the bands will be like?
Well, I mean, with such a strong showing from University of California, San Diego, I think they'll be feeling very confident here on the defense. I imagine Marymount is really going to want to get that intel off the board. With the right intel, the fraggers on University UC San Diego are able to basically move the world. So I really want to see that Valkyrie ban. I don't think that's going to be a good thing to leave up there. Thatcher's no surprise whatsoever, and I don't imagine that we'll see another hard breaching ban. So probably something else along the lines of a nomad or a gridlock, just to deal with those stairs, make sure that the flanks are kind of dealt with.
But if we see anything positive here, it's gonna be gridlock, right? She's much better than nomad when it comes to that roam denial on this map. Those stairwells are wide, lots of space for those track stingers to find effect. And I'm a little shocked to see the Maverick be the person banned for the hard breach. Usually it's kind of an ace, that ranged hard breach. Deny that safety net of being able to toss those down to that cigar lounge wall. So it's an interesting decision from the MCU side to ban that out. I don't think it's going to be too much of a detriment. I guess the biggest problem there is, removing the nade in hand of that Maverick.
Yeah, that was definitely a play to deal with the first floor objective on Kitchen. Trying to get him off of those walls, not giving him the ability to open that up, because he's not going to lend a lot to the attack on the third floor objective. One might makes quite a bit of sense. He's going to do a lot on Pixel on third floor. And of course, spreading out those magnets just about anywhere on the map is going to add a lot of resilience to any shields that you have set up. Mira, she speaks for herself. She can just deny so much area.
Yeah, I mean, Mira obviously is a big problem to have, right? She's such a nuisance to deal with those Black Mirrors, and until her nerf actually comes through, it's going to be a little bit difficult. I think Ape is having a problem right now. He doesn't realize that he's not playing Dead by Daylight. Isn't actually playing Siege, but some last-second picks seemingly coming from the MCU side. I think maybe a 6-pick may come through, but it does look like those are actually fairly normal setups for them anyways. They might have gotten it in time. They're going to opt to go off the Maestro here for this third floor. I would have kind of preferred if they didn't go off Maestro to switch to Castle, but if you do take a look at the lineup, they do have an Echo, so that's kind of that extra kind of eye-line support, and Echo is devastating for this side. I guarantee you, I'm calling it here right here. We're going to see the drone. We're going to see it launch through Skylight. We're going to see him try to catch a visual towards the hatch above Red Stairs. And we're going to see if they actually can get the sledge nitro-celled and killed as he steps away from it. It'll be an information game, an information battle. If he can relay the information in time to Console, who will probably be the one to throw that nitro-cell since he's the only one with it.
Yeah, this side also has sort of choke points right into objective that make it very difficult to get a plant in more than a few default locations, especially on B site on the default spot right behind our little bar right there. That's a really important spot that's easy to watch with an Echo drone from several locations, so that's always just phenomenal value if you can get a plant denial. And with no Thatcher on the board, you can't really deal with the drone except by going into the same room as it. So it can kind of hold some cover in bar and be basically undestroyable. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of that Echo drone, especially since they're willing to trade off the Maestro for Echo. And Maestro is phenomenally strong operator anywhere, definitely third floor on Cafe.
Yeah, undoubtedly. Being able to situate themselves over in C2, which is that back middle section of that cocktail lounge, behind the one soft wall, one reinforced wall onto the northernmost wall of that section, which is literally where we just saw that player cross to, that northmost wall that is reinforced we see. That's where you're going to see Maestros. Usually that second one's not reinforced. I actually think it is for this side, so they're obviously opting to reinforce that because they don't have the Maestro. They don't need that crossfire, and instead they're going to probably opt to go on that awning side towards, I believe they call that C1, and they're going to opt to go and spray over that instead. But Score's looking for an opportunity to step up. He's going to go ahead and use a breaching round to maybe clear out some of the utility between that doorway. I'm not sure he managed to connect with anything there, but still plenty of time. 2 minutes now on the clock, and he's going to drop down to Veranda, but it'll be Ape who finds the first kill. Ace will fall, and MCU take the man advantage here with 2 minutes left.
That's a lot of soft breaching used up already by the Ash. The Score using up one of his breaching charges. There's the second one right now, and 2 breaching charges just to kind of clear from the top. That's a lot to put out, especially having to deal with these castle barricades still going to be up. We're seeing that Echo come out, doing quite a bit of work. And already, the man advantage is looking heavily MCU.
It gets tied up real swift. It was. I mean, it was a 4-2 at one point in time with MCU taking the lead. Not so much now. Smasher's just a small pixel away from actually connecting that shot. It's not going to matter. Though Tripped will find Anubis, and a nade from Smashers may actually go over the top. It's going to land, but it won't matter. Tripped will take the kill instead. No matter what, Charles was dead in that situation. The nade would have killed just a half a second later. Phenomenal round right there coming through. Tripped is definitely the change that they needed coming into this one. Great decision. Great first round. A lot of versatility in that attack. We're going to have to see where they opt to go in this one. They're going to head right back up to that third floor. Let's see if they decide to go with the Maestro this time around, if they'll stick with the Echo. It looks like they may stick with the Echo, but they're not going to go a 6th pick off of Maestro to the Castle. They'll just stick to the Castle. So we may see Castle to Maestro. We could see it go the other way. We'll have to see what they do. 6th pick phase underway. Hopefully we see at least one or both of these sides really, make use of that. Tripped will indeed make use of that, switching over to the Zofia. Good decision. Not very much room for Hibana on this objective.
Yeah, definitely not having 3 hard breachers going for 3rd floor. That's just too much. You're not getting enough of that soft breaching, not getting enough of that explosives. And against any lineup on 3rd floor, those explosives are going to be vital. Definitely against this one, Ace is just going to shut off areas with his castle barricades if you don't have the proper explosives to deal with that. So definitely no room for that Hibana. That last round, we saw MCU show very well in the beginning. They got those entry frags just like they were needing, and they were able to clean up very convincingly. There's no question about that. And the last player for UCSD, I believe it was Charles again, was dead 2 different ways no matter what he did, sitting there in the corner with the frag coming in. We'll see if MCU can pull it off again. This has been a stark difference from what we saw on map 1 on Oregon.
Yeah, and I'm a little disappointed. I'm not going to lie to you here, Treachery. I'm a little disappointed that we haven't seen that Yokai drone be tossed through Skyline and catch that Nitro Cell opportunity. I saw it the other day during the SFCL qualifiers, and I almost screamed at how cool it was. I mean, it missed. It didn't get the kill. All right. But I was on the edge of my seat.
After you're going to scream from excitement?
Yes. I mean, it dropped him 70 HP. It dropped the sledge 70 HP, which made him think twice, right? Like, hey, we got your number, right? We know what you're doing. We're in your head now.
It's like getting in their heads, yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, that was just such a cool thing for me to see. You always learn something new, right? And there's always new things to learn. And if there's only one side between these two teams I think would be able to pull that off or even try to pull it off, it would be this UCSD side, the San Diego side. And they haven't done it yet. I do actually see a Toxic Bay versus a Nitro Cell. Toxic Bay will be tossed towards to maybe slow down the push coming from that hatch. Reaps will take a nade to the shield in front of him, losing that extra support of that sight line. Sorry, he's going to drop down that Cigar Lounge hatch. But it will not matter. 2 kills dropping back to back. UCSD struggling as Smashers and Hope Banshee will devastate their side.
Hope Banshee's just in the exact right spot to pick that up. I saw him going for that hatch, and I was like, I'm pretty sure Hope Banshee should be right up here on red stairs at this point after seeing him progressing up that stair, looking for some kind of roam denial, trying to take out any roamers that might be over on that side before they can find him and kind of clear it out for his team. And he did just that, leaving his team now. Oh my god, in a 5-2 advantage. This is looking phenomenal. Charles is left once again in that back corner of Cocktail Balcony. And Anubis is still there with him. He's a phenomenal fragger. Oh no, Anubis is the one stuck back there on Cocktail Balcony. And they've got some intel, but only 2 operators left to use it, and not much damage except for on Ape.
I mean, these two operators, these 2 players are the ones that you would want to see try to clutch it up. The MP5 SD in the hands of Charles will be devastating. The 416C is already devastating, but in the hands of Anubis, even more so. Shots connecting. That's going to be Anubis finding Hope Banshee, a 2v4. They've stopped the bleeding just slightly, but things are still not looking well for you guys. Anubis will crouch spam his way to try to find a kill. Player seemingly most situated on the western side. A hard breach will go out on the inside of behind bar. Shots will connect from the opposition. Tripped will take a little bit of damage, but Anubis has a way to step forward. Player really close. He didn't see the barrel. He'll get support, but Ape will team kill his teammate, but Smashes will still find the kill into Anubis. Charles, last man standing, 20 seconds on the clock. He's still sitting inside a Cocktail Lounge. A rush will come from the inside. He'll step into the backside, trying to get a visual to maybe deny plant. It won't matter, however. He'll down out Smashers. Diffuser has been planted, and he's now in a post-plant scenario. Player crawling down to the ground behind the actual bar. Charles still trying to find a position to get a kill. 2 players to get shot from inside. He'll rotate around swiftly, knows he's in a bad situation. Player is actually heading over to the big stairs. Close player behind bar will get concussed here. That's going to be the Zofia of the opposition. He sprays, not connecting. Getting ever closer to the diffuser itself. Time is running out, however. And he's going to play a do-si-do around the ring. Finds one, finds Abe in a 1v2. Finds the second, he gets the kills. And he'll have time, I believe he actually does. Round will be won as UCSD get it again on the back of Charles.
What was that? Charles was handed 2, but that was a steep hill to climb. He just crouched walk forward. He just kept walking up to the diffuser, and eventually it worked out for him. His aim definitely is entirely there. He earned it, but what a weird way to clutch out a round.
The do-si-do around the bar, around that wall inside, just back and forth. I mean, they just kept staring at each other and like just turning the other way. I mean, that entire engagement was something to behold. I mean, great turn to be able to shoot the player situated in normally the default planting position on that veranda. Good turn to kill that. Good turn to catch the Zofia off guard. Phenomenal job around to get the score out of the situation. And you still had that one player downed. I believe that was Ape, I believe. I could be wrong. It was Tripped, actually. It was a Zofia. They had switched out. It was a good situation to not go for the kill and be in it because you were just about 3 or 4 seconds short of actually losing that and not having time. Great time management. Great control. And while your rest of your team really let you down in that defensive hold in the beginning stages, you sure as heck took that one back in stride.
It looks like Charles is done leaving the round at the behest of his teammates. He's going off of that Intel operator. Now he's got that Malusi as his choice. He's got an MP5 in hand, gonna be pretty similar to the MP5 SD he actually clutched with last round, and we know he can use that quite well. So that's not a terrible position for him to be in. I think we'll be able to see Charles excel even more now in this position on the forefront, getting more frags and having to rely on his team a little bit less.
You don't want to see people relying solely on one person. We kind of saw that with MCU. They were really relying on Hope. And, well, you want Hope to be your last hope, and this is not going to happen every single time. You can't rely on that one person to really be the end-all, be-all, and right now, San Diego is really relying on Anubis and Charles to clutch this one out. They've only gotten 6 kills total for their side. Meanwhile, you've got 6 kills also just between Smashers and Abe, and then you've got an extra 3 in between the rest of the players there as well. Hope, however, not looking hot, already dropping down to about 7 HP. Things are not in a good position for him, and that's a bad way to start off, especially when you are that roam clear that you kind of situated yourself as in that Jackal kind of position.
We saw Hope Banshee and the score excel last map as really the shining lights on their team, and already seeing the score down with that hard breaching, not necessary hard breaching because those thermite charges are kind of secondary to Ape's Selma charges this round, but Hope Banshee is also very low, and you just lost a lot of fragging potential because Hope Banshee really can't take those fights like he used to be able to, kind of relegated more to a Intel operator at this point, and Smashers is down as well due to Anubis's keen shooting. This is not looking great for MCU this round, a lot different from last.
It's going to be a rough one. Anubis finding themselves their double kill, taking command of the situation with a commando in hand, hence why that's my favorite weapon to actually call out. It's just the best one for the pun. Ape will fall nonetheless, and it's going to be a 5v2, a complete return around from the situation we saw previously. Can Tripped and Hope be what they need to make the return? I think Tripped is kind of trying to find out what they can do here. They're running around over on the red stairs. Hope kind of hanging out near white stairs, sitting inside a reading room at the moment. They have a player above them, however, inside of C1. Will he get caught off guard? We'll shoot the camera. Player now aware of his position. One coming down white stairs. Console dropping behind. He'll get caught off guard, however. Hope will find the kill, but the player of Anubis is still close by. He's holding inside of that laundry room. He actually finds a chance to shoot. Will win the fight for his triple kill. The question is, will he go for the 4K? Tripped's position kind of gave it away. It's going to be the player that's over there in that central staircase, which will have that. However, Tripped, he's going to play the air jab. It's going to be up to Anubis in a 1v1. He's going to try and take this one himself. He does. 4K for him, and Tripped will fall. Round 3 for the defensive side.
You mentioned that Anubis hasn't really been quite showing up this map like he was on Oregon, and I think he must have read your mind there. He knew that, wasn't going to take that, and he really showed up grabbing an easy 4K, making sure to show up with that Mozzie, going all the way from the 3rd floor down to the bottom of White Stairs for his final fight. He was just booking it from fight to fight all through the round. And that's going to actually lead it in UCSD's favor for the first time on this map.
I want to make a comment here. No matter how this game ends up so far, from what we're at least seeing here on map 2 for Cafe, very different from map 1. I mean, immediately right off the bat, you see that MCU has gotten around for themselves. They almost had 2, an extremely clutch situation to take it. That last round was fairly lopsided and one-sided in one direction, but very different from what we saw previously. I mean, MCU really just couldn't get anything under them in the first half, or the first half of the first map, I should say. Just struggling in every direction, nothing working one way or the other, and it's just not what you want to see. They've made a return, and I said Cafe is probably where they're going to do better for themselves. It's a very different playstyle map. UCSD, their strategy they used on map 1 for everything just isn't going to work here. They're going to have to switch it up. But we are actually seeing the Maestro get played. That Evil Eye placed inside of that central bar, it will be in the normal position where you usually place it when you hold 3rd floor objectives. This time inside of the 2nd floor objective. So an interesting decision. No castle in play on that wall just yet for the white window. They have not placed. They're actually going to place those on the 3rd floor behind bar. Interesting decision as well. You need to get it over towards white stairs if you can, but time is running out. I'm not sure why Ace is opting to do reinforcements instead of placing those up.
This is a really very vertically extended hold. Those mutes and castles are going to conspire together to give UCSD a lot of ability to hold further up. They're not being placed exactly how I'd expect them, so I'll be really curious to see how this turns out. There's one of the most important ones for this hold, right up there between bar and cocktail lounge. But I'm really curious about that Maestro cam on bar from Reaps. It's not going to have the guaranteed efficacy of one placed in sight, per se, like how that usually is in sight on this 3rd floor bar objective. But while the other team, the MCU, is having to deal with the utility placed upstairs for this vertical hold, they're also going to have to deal with the constant pestering from that Maestro cam. And it looks like vertically it's going to kind of pay off for UCSD, taking Ape off the board right off the bat. And this time he is the only hard breacher.
That's going to be a huge deficit. Now, for this objective, hard breach isn't really that important. I mean, you can kind of bust out that northern wall inside of Reading Room, but honestly, it's not a huge deal. You really just need fraggers, and that's kind of what they have here. They have 3 arguably entry frag kind of like roamed people, but Ace is going to deny one of those that I was talking about. Hope will fall. While you can see that as a roam denial kind of operator, which it kind of is, they also have a phenomenal enough weapon with enough speed they can be considered entries. And MCU's kind of opting for that aggressive style with only 1 hard breach, and it is not working out for them. You've lost Anubis on the UCSD side, but is that enough to really be a detriment? It wasn't Anubis that clutched that round before. It was Charles. Everything was coming up in that direction for them. You may have lost your top fragger, but I don't think you've lost this round just yet, especially when it's so difficult to actually plant in these objectives. With those floor footholds like we talked about earlier, with the crossfires like we see right here from Console over on White Stairs all the way to the score inside of Train. A second one could actually be lined up. A player lying down prone. I actually believe from what I'm seeing here, I think that's actually Smashers. But it's going to be hard.
Smart move not to pick that again.
Oh, it is actually Smashers. They're going to take damage from the all-there cross. Charles in a firefight as well. They're going to take the butt into that one. I think that's going to be Trip that was actually damaging that one out. But Smashers is very low, not looking hot. 30 seconds on the clock. And there's no time, no chance, nothing you're going to get going. This aerial play, the long hallway play. Charles once again finding a kill into Tripped. Smashers in a bad situation, almost gets caught off guard. Crossfires from every direction. Ace taking fire. Charles falling from Smashers. A player dropping down. He finds a second. A 2v1. Smashers trying to make the comeback here. But one player in Reading Room, that's going to be the Alda wielding Reapers, who will try to deny and will successfully deny, hiding behind Couch with the Alda in hand. Smashers falls, and a round 4 victory for the defensive side.
UCSD was starting to scare me there. Like, you don't need to just feed Smashers KD right now. You still got a round to win. I did love Console's move there of getting away from the stairs. He got one amazing headshot with SMG-11 all the way through Fireplace Hall from White Stairs. Peeked it again, looking for a second one. Almost went a third time, but he wasn't going to do that. He realized, they've got a rifle. It's a 2-time sight all the way over there on Zofia. Bad move. But instead of just leaving, Console went for actually a flank. He went upstairs. He knew the hatch was open and that he could keep putting on pressure from above. And that would have been just too much to deal with for Smasher. I mean, he got a little too hasty there once they felt that the round was close enough. He hopped down and got himself killed. But if there was more time for Smashers to go for that clutch, he absolutely could have just locked that down and made sure no entry through Fireplace Hall was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I want MCU to kind of come back and win another round. I think this third floor is where their best bet. We're having a lot of connection problems, apparently. Not sure what's happening, but I'm sure it'll even itself out. Maybe it's just Ubisoft being Ubisoft, being the gooby in their Ubisoft name and really gluing up the internals of their server systems or something. I'm not sure what exactly is going on. It'll work itself out. It inevitably does in the end. And much like MCU, we are inevitable, and Ubisoft is inevitable themselves. But another Marvel reference for you guys there. But a 5v5, it looks like a standard kind of attack. The only real difference is here is the fact that a Lion's in play. So you're actually going to have a little bit of extra utility. And a lot of the time when you see Lion, you're going to see a fuse as well. But that's not the case, nor should it be the case on this third floor. Maybe on second floor, if they're holding that reading room objective again. But not here. I don't see fuse as a really applicable person unless you're going to smoke off and go for a plant below Skylight.
Yeah, I think that Lion from Tripped is sort of a signature off pick. Sort of just a way to catch the opponents off guard. He pulls it out sometimes, maybe a comfort pick. I'm not sure the exacts. I would be curious to know. I noticed during the setup, Reap set up his shield, and we've got a couple ADSs from Anubis set up right by red stairs. That's a good position to play that shotgun. Ooh, and there's the echo that you were hopeful for on the Skylight. We saw it go up, and maybe we'll see some explosives come out from that. Although we've got one C4 that's still securely in Console's pocket. Is progressing a little bit slowly. This first minute is already underway with no frags and nothing really looking like it's going to be close to a frag.
I mean, fairly normal in terms of the third floor. Little substandard, I guess, in terms of what we've seen previously, but maybe they're finally finding themselves back to a somewhat normal kind of strategy. We are seeing a little bit of an emphasis towards this cigar lounge, which is we hadn't necessarily seen that much of previously, and we're not going to see much of the score in this round either. They'll be taken out fairly early on. Hope is down below, however. They're trying to catch the player down and off guard. No player actually situated in corner, though, and they actually will have the ability now to hard breach that wall, which is just an extra effort in. However, you already have basically everybody in there for the ability to get in there because they're all repelling outside on windows instead. So, interesting decision. No one holding that picks anymore. The shield's been taken out, so no need to worry about it. But Reaps is trying to find out if he really and truly is the Grim Reaper. He's holding with the shield and cigar shop with a cheeky crossfire angle and an opportunity to maybe catch a player stepping out of that stairwell door off guard.
Ooh, Tripped they didn't have intel on him, and there goes Anubis, first picked again from UCSD. Not really getting these chances to frag like he should be able to. Just taking this time and time again, and that's not a good thing for Reeves to be seeing here. He knows now that his location is known, and there he's going to be knocked up, I hope, Banshee while he tries to cross.
Bad situation, 2v4, 8 finding Ace in tow. Charles and Console, last two standing. Charles has clutched this before. He will not be given the chance this time. Smashers smashing any hope of that one. And now it's just Console. Nitro Cell ripped in hand. He's got time to do it. He can kind of wait to the last second. Will tear and bop it. Tripped will fall. 4 seconds now. And they're going to have to pick up the diffuser and move to a new location. Audio cue is given away, but he doesn't have the exact location. No way to do it. And a post-plant scenario will be underfoot. 45 seconds to play this one out. Console with the Mossberg and, of course, the SMG-11 in hand still have the opportunity to clutch this one up. 2 of the players in the opposition are low, but it's not going to matter. Smashers once again smashing any chance of that one. Console will fall, and we finally see MCU take another round. And like I said, this third floor is the one that they're seemingly best at, and they take that one very well with 3 players still standing.
Yeah, that's some really impressive plays on third floor. I think we're going to be seeing UCSD avoid that for any foreseeable future. They won't have too many more chances at it since this half is going to be flipping pretty soon. But Marymount has really made a show of what they can do with that objective. So that's phenomenal to see for them getting themselves that second on the board. They're already doing better than last time, and they've got quite a bit more time to get these victories rather than where they were at before on Oregon. So this is not all looking UCSD this time.
Very true. I think this is the last one of the half, like you had spoken about. It's going to be pretty pivotal if MCU can kind of take this one. But like I stated, maybe we're just going to see if the UCSD side is just better on attack, right? I mean, this is Cafe. It can be argued as an attacker-sided map. I think the actual hardest one to kind of do, it's hard to play against a team that has a coherent strategy. UCSD has had fairly good strategies. I've not seen very much for the third floor in terms of that strategy, though. It's been fairly weak. We're not seeing the Maestro on the third floor. We're not seeing Pixel being held that strong, that corner pocket of Cigar Lounge. We're not seeing these kind of be held the way that you would anticipate them to be held, with maybe Pancakes in play inside of Cigar Lounge and ADS as a support inside of Cigar Lounge. It's just been given up too quickly, and quite frankly, it seems a little bit strange. Anubis, though, he's going to opt for a little bit more of a selfish pick for Cafe. He's going to pick up Mozzie again. And then while it has worked previously, information isn't necessarily a huge pivotal factor here on this map, especially for the kitchen side. It's really just a roam-heavy kind of frag-centric kind of role. Step back when applicable, and then let them funnel inside in the last few moments for that 30-second meta.
When you were mentioning that Pixel, I keep noticing they put those Jaeger ADSs in other spots. Most rounds, there was only one going on Pixel. And, oh no, there goes Ace, disconnected. That will be an unfortunate loss for UCSD here. And a great boon for MCU, looking to even it out on their attack rounds. But having only one
snap
ADS...
in the lobby.
Ooh, and a run out.
No!
And a double kill on the run out. Looking for a third, not quite finding it. And he is well known on this location. He's got a lot of live feed going out on where exactly he is. But...
Too greedy. Too greedy. I know the Commando's a good gun. Yeah, I know a Commando's a good gun in that range, but too greedy. He's even saying he got baited. Yeah, I mean, Thanos snapped, Ace on the opposition, disappeared from the match. Not going to happen. MCU taking that one, but the double run out from Anubis will definitely devastate them as well. You've lost out that Hard Breacher, the only one you brought. And for this kitchen side, Hard Breach is actually useful. Mostly as a way to gain sightlines and security, but also as a way to kind of get that hatch if that hatch has actually been open and not been opened up. From the looks like the wooden paneling I'm seeing on the floor there, it is actually opened up. So that is a little bit of a guarantee. They won't be able to actually, reinforce that and have a little bit of extra security. So they don't have to worry about hard breaching that, but they aren't still going to have to worry about this man count. A 3v3 with 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock.
That's not too much time to be having to drone out third floor already. This is a lot of intensity here from the drones. Hope Banshee right behind one right now, trying to deal with these mute jammers. And they haven't even moved down to second floor, which is a whole nother step of the game altogether. Getting down to first floor, I think it's going to be a bit of a slog here for MCU. They got 55 seconds. They're not going to be able to drone it out fully properly. There's no UCSD players on second floor, though, so it won't bite them most likely. It's going to come down to getting into sight before this timer runs out.
40 seconds on the clock. You do see the breaching charges going inside of Fireplace. The score is looking for that. A Nitro Cell will be tossed from Reaps. 2 more still available for that side. Not a lot of aerial of what you initially anticipate coming from MCU. You don't have that sledge to clear out the floor inside a train. You're really only clearing Fireplaces at aerial view, and while it does seem to be a little bit of a boon, it's not going to be enough. Players finally dropping. He'll connect onto 2. He actually downs 1. Another one will be finished off there by Charles, who will secure, but the score is going to come around. He's going to push around. Not going to matter. Reaps will secure the last with the Magnum. High noon in the situation, but it'll be Console who finds the other with the actual MP5. And it's high noon somewhere in the world, and it's definitely high noon for on the west coast over here where these universities are situated. It even says yeehaw.
Yeehaw. Actually pulling out to a pretty good start relative to the first map that we saw. And now Marymount is actually going to get their own defensive half. They are going to have a little bit of advantage. It won't be as good as the defensive half was on Oregon, but definitely something to be aware of. This 4-2 split is not a terrible thing to see from your attack on any map, really.
We are seeing Ape, who I think got picked onto it. I don't think he meant to do it. I think it just happened. Got put on Rook. We'll switch over using the 6 pick onto the Kaid. But I also think that Tripped accidentally got put on the Ella. I don't think that was on purpose either. So, could be unfortunate to see them have two people that they didn't want to play. Having to use only one 6-pick is only what you get. So unfortunate, but I do actually think Ella can be viable as your one roamer to kind of play upstairs on the second floor, or even up on the third floor. If you just hide inside a cigar, right? Just kind of play the low game, the long con, as they do say, and then maybe rotate around. They don't have a gridlock on the attack, it's just the Nomad, so you can kind of hear those air jabs and kind of avoid them in the situation. There's so many long corridors and hallways here, you cannot air jab all of them. There is a weakness, there is a hole in their armor that you can get around. You eventually will find the backside of the opposition. It's just a matter of can you secure and find kills in the process of doing so.
If I were MCU, I wouldn't be too upset about the Ella. You get that shield. It's a real nice thing to have. But if you'll notice, we don't have the Jaeger on the board. We don't have any way of defending that shield. It's going to be a casualty pretty quickly here with Console and Anubis on explosive launcher operators. So I don't think it'll actually do him as much good as you might immediately think. And Tripped is stuck with the FO12 shotgun. And it's just so much harder to roam that way. It's really, really good for anchoring a really tight corner, making sure that it's hard to get into a room right off of sight. But there's not going to be any good place to set up there. Maybe coat check would be a good place to do that in a pinch. But you're not going to have those same roam opportunities that you were mentioning before.
Yeah, having that roam is highly important for any really pivotal strategy, but if you take a look at kind of what's situated around, it's a really heavy roam clear coming from UCSD. They're swiftly taking control of this third floor, and they're going to go ahead and make their way down below. I want to know where Tripped is. I think they actually are still situated down. They're going to full anchored down on the kitchen objective. They only have one person situated at the easternmost objective, that B objective, and they have 4 situated on the west. They're in corner pockets. They're really just trying to stay away from the open floor that will eventually get opened up. And if you take a look at the UCSD side, they also did not opt to bring Sledge, so a little bit harder to actually open up the floors, but it can get done with how much destructive utility like breach charges you do have available to you.
Anubis has opened up that floor and should have a good line of sight to hold Banshee's bandit charges. That's going to open it up totally for Charles or Reaps to open up Bakery Wall. And that's a really good value that opens up a lot of sight all the way from Bakery. And with those magnified sights on attack, you can make a lot happen that way. Console's got the first frag here on Trip, who has just been stuck in a corner trying to play that shield and that shotgun, but to no avail. That's a nice first pick for UCSD. And they've got all the upstairs control that they could possibly want right now.
Difficult situation. You see once again this high ground being taken. It is exceedingly difficult to try and actually hold on to the high ground when the nitro cells are available, but you only have 2 of those left. You've lost out Trip, so you've lost out that Ella, which is a phenomenal fragger available to you, and it's going to be difficult. Reap stepping into one of the Grismont mines, but it'll be Smashers who finds the kill on a Console. They will remove that Zofia from application, and they'll remove Anubis, who is the Ash. Tough frag out of the situation as well, and a 3v4 underway. Can Reaps, Charles, and Ace hold out? They sure will try. Reaps finding out the score with a nice shot with the AK-12. Player stepping inside. It's a really close situation. Smashers will rip and will hit the dip. Finding the back of Charles. Triple kill for Smashers. And now they're going to try and find another. Can't do it. Reaps will get it instead. An A2v2. Reaps needs to step inside and actually get plant going. Hope Banshee close as well. Tosses it, but accidentally hits the top. Not what you want. Reaps needs to get in place to actually plant. He actually has the chance here. He's going to start and force. Player is actually spotted. But he'll find the backside. It'll be Hope. He's going to step up. Hope will actually run in. Gets the pistol. And it's all over. Hope with the double kill. And of course, Smashers with the triple kill. Round will go in favor of MCU. First defensive one for them that they actually do find success as well.
That's just phenomenal to see Smashers land 2 kills with an SMG-11 through the floor, having that ace such a small hole with a gun that just has so much recoil. That's a real testament to his control and experience on that operator, and obviously a phenomenal C4 rip, just totally taking out the attack from prep room. UCSD's attack was just dismantled by just a pair of players. Really impressive to see from Marymount.
Very phenomenal job. I think that the biggest point of that was we saw a very good aerial game come from the UCSD side. It just small mistakes, little things, shots that should have connected. That entire round wouldn't have happened if Console had just realized there was a second player in that doorway. We have outlines. We can see that it's an opposing player. Maybe they thought it was a wall. Maybe they thought it was just a part of the doorway, maybe a shield. But it was very obvious to me here in the booth. I'm not sure if it was for you, Treasury, but it was extremely obvious there was a second player next to where Tripped was on that Ella. And in fact, Tripped apparently liking the Ella choice. We'll stick with it. Interesting. It would have gone entirely because that was Smashers. That was Smashers who would have gotten taken out.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't have gotten the triple kill. And probably would have ended that round. UCSD would have taken that one in round 7. And now they're going to have to try and attack this third floor, which is very difficult as well. Arguably easier. But the sightlines on this objective can be exceedingly difficult. But I'm not seeing an Alda in hand for MCU. I'm not seeing a Malusi for that MP5 in hand. So I'm questioning a little bit what MCU is bringing to the table, and especially questioning why you would impact nade your smoke.
You don't love to have some damage on your smoke. He's going to be important Vanguard for your team, taking those early fights. And with an SMG-11 there, taking any amount of damage on Pixel is going to be really valuable to the opposing team. He's just got to be able to stick it out for as long as possible before he has to fall back. And, a small misplay like that can be fatal.
Fatal indeed. It's going to be devastating. I worry. I do. I really and truly worry about MCU on the defense, and I also worry about UCSD. I don't want either of these teams to, inherently fail or do poorly, right? And so being able to watch and be able to spectate in real time what's happening is always something enjoyable to see. And I want MCU to have this comeback story, right? I don't want them to get 2 out, right? But at the same time, UCSD has had a phenomenal game. Anubis coming with 11 kills, right? I mean, it's been great showing so far. Console always seemed to struggle a little bit. He's a little bit come back into his own, but Anubis will deny the Gumide and knows the players rotated up to that white stairs. It's going to be that player of the score rotating back around. They haven't been doing so hot. 1-7 for themselves, and the fight over on top of the red stairs will be officially underway. They're going to hold that same tight position we actually saw, I believe it was Reaps holding previously in defense. It didn't work out for him ever. So I'm not sure why MCU is opting to hold it as well. Maybe the FO12 in hand will be the deciding factor for that.
Got a couple more follow-up shots with that speedy, quick single action, as opposed to the pump action Mossberg. But Tripped is just really kiting this close. He's got a drone finding his location. That's nice use of that utility to sort of get someone right off his back, but he doesn't expect that push. Smasher covering him there, making sure that Tripp doesn't die, but Reaps doesn't take too much longer to give it to him as well. Charles finishing off Smashers for his trouble, and it's down to the score and Hope Banshee.
Oh my goodness. Can we just digest for a second what happened right there? Tripped in a bad situation between a rock and another hard place. Gets shot by, I believe at the time it was actually Charles. He rotates away. Reaps finds it from an actual cigar bar, right? And then in the process after that, Charles, who had just fought him, will turn and fight Smashers inside a cigar as well at Pixel, win that engagement, and now they're 2 men up with a phenomenal crossfire, phenomenal support, phenomenal refrag, and a double refrag to boot. They came through swinging, and it's absolutely showing for it. Diffuser now being planted. Reaps will plant in, I believe, no, not default. He's going to plant on the southernmost wall, but it will be denied. That'll be the scorer who finds it. He's going to be back inside of that freezer side. Charles is looking for an opportunity. He connects on a Hope Banshee. Last player standing now is the scorer. He is sitting inside a freezer pocket. Anubis has really got this crossfire. No way to step out. Charles also seemingly aware of the position. The dead player that got called out for that position is also aware. A run out will come through. He doesn't shoot for a second, and he'll shake his head at him. Charles saying, no, 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 not today. We take these zones.
Charles just narrowly missed the head on every account there on that first burst. That's, the odds of that. But finally landing that out, I think the score was just trapped in corners all around. He got droned out of his little hidey hole right off the bat. He came upstairs and it was already looking intense by construction. Heading over to Freezer, he was able to net himself a kill, but the hits just kept coming, and UCSD was a step ahead of him at every step of that way. And they knew his location for quite a while he was in Freezer. Just stuck. Nothing to do. No way to explode his way out of there. Just hard walls on 3 sides and 2 operators in front of him. Just an unwinnable spot.
Yeah, it's very unwinnable. I think one of the biggest problems with that as well, though, is the fact that the T5 SMG in the hands of Legion no longer has a 1.5. It's gone. No longer applicable. It got removed. Nerfed out. Legion taking the fattest of L's. And therefore, I will never play him again. So, can't warrant that, right? I'd rather play Oryx with the T5 and the 1.5, right? I don't think Legion deserved that big of a nerf, honestly, but it is a huge detriment those crossfire angles right there, you're not going to be able to hit those as well with that holographic that's left. And if you're not using the holographic on the T5, then you get a lot more problems than not having a 1.5. So, quite frankly, are you a Legion fan or do you hate Legion?
I don't know. Legion's just an overall strong operator. He still is. He's just one of the best overall roamers, right up there with Jaeger and Vigil. Obviously offering a little bit different things for each slot. But, I mean, he's an all-rounder. He can really cover everything. Great gun, great gadget, gives you that intel and potentially some damage. Countering the shields as well. But he's definitely not quite up there, obviously, like Jaeger. Like, I don't mean to say that he's on the same level as Jaeger, but he's just one of your go-to roamers. I think he's in a nice spot right now overall.
I hear your damage control. Immediately go for him. He's one of the best roamers. I mean, he's not the best. No, Legion is a terrible roamer in the normal sense of roaming. I actually love Legion as a roamer. I agree with you on that statement. It's just wrong. I hate that it's wrong.
Nah, you just can't play him to die.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it is, but that's the sad part about playing Rome.
He's not like a far-out Rome.
It's the problem with Rome in the current meta that is, though. I mean, you need to play that kind of frag-centric kind of Rome. The only time you're really seeing a roamer play that information style Rome is on, like, say, Oregon Basement, where you're turtling, right? It doesn't have a place in, say, Cafe there, unless you're playing Kitchen, right? It just doesn't have a play in any other normal objective, especially not for the third floor. It's just not viable when you're only anchoring. And the score was doing just that, only anchoring. Legion is not your viable person for that. It's just not going to be. Play Melusi. Play Jaeger, like you mentioned before. Play Vigil. They're all better than Legion. Every single one of them. Even Ella,
I think that's really the crux of it. I mean, really, the Melusi, you can't go wrong with the Melusi right now. She's crazy good. You got to put resources into it. You got to put those explosives. You can't really push up against it without the explosives. It would just be a better pick. I think I definitely agree with you on that one.
Trust me, I don't want to hate on Legion. I love Legion. I have so many hours in Legion. I love that dude, but he's just not competitively viable, has no place. And Pixel will be taken. It'll be an alibi, however. And they fake it on that one. Tripped actually gets the kill as well. MCU coming through, but he will be refragged out. No safety behind the coffee counter table. Reaps will find the kill in a 4v4. A minute left on the clock. That's not going to work twice.
I love all the weird operators that Tripped plays. He always just spices it up. You know, just keep it a little weird and unique every time I see him going. I love it.
Just absolutely everything between.
I really don't love losing Pixel so early, though. And we've seen it every single round on third floor. It doesn't need to be like that. I know you don't have
pretty good time here, actually.
But
I think we've bought some good time.
I guess at this point, but I called it a while after it went off. I think we were at like a minute and a half when it actually went down, which isn't terrible, but I think we could stack we can stack those ADSs a little better.
Yeah, post-plan scenario, Ape will have gotten a kill in that situation, bringing it to a 3v3, where the score is down but not out. More than likely not going to be able to be revived out to actually have any effect. Anubis, very tight angle to be held, almost able to catch the player off guard. It will be Anubis, however, who will peek up to grab it. Reaps falls to Ape in a 2v1. Now is Ape's last man standing, and Ace will do short work of it. He'll find the kill, and his downed player of the score will fall as well, leading to, I believe, 2 or 3 kills for him in that round. So a phenomenal showing. It'll be a match point now for the UCSD side, and MCU has definitely had a good coming of this one. They have come into their own. They won, what, 1-2 rounds previously? They just couldn't do anything about it.
There was only one on Oregon. It was just such a rough map for them. Just dominated there by UCSD. This has been a real map. I wish we could have seen this on map 1, but I'll definitely settle for as much as we can get right now.
Marymount chose Cafe. This is the map that they chose. It was the UCSD side, the San Diego side, who opted to choose for Oregon. Obviously, I think it would have been more shocking to see their pick go the other way that badly, but nonetheless, a 6-3. I think if they bring this to 6-4 before it comes to 7-4, it would be a very good showing. If they could somehow, take this into a massive comeback and tie it up, that would be a spectacle to behold as well. But I also would worry about it at that point. How drained are your players going into map 3, especially a map like Consulates, where most people don't even know where anything is because it's just not played, right? I mean, how drained are you at this stage? It's going to be like 1 a.m. I think it's going to be even later for these people on the West Coast. right? Or is
Or
it
earlier. They got a couple hours on us. They
They're
got 3
ahead-
hours on the East
Oh, so
Coast.
they're forcing us to be awake at this.
Yeah, they're doing this to us.
Yeah, they're doing this to us here. Okay, no,
Yeah,
but
well, at least they don't
nonetheless,
have to
I
deal
mean,
with that fatigue. That's
you're
that's
still
good.
fatigued down. It's going to be hard to try to deal with that. I mean, even as a caster, you feel fatigue for casting for so long. Say it maybe if your voice doesn't do it, if you're staying well hydrated and have that kind of energy to go through with it, you still will feel mentally kind of drained. I know I'm mentally drained every time I cast Cafe because this map sucks, but it wears down over time, especially for best of fives, right? I mean, that's just going to happen.
Yeah, that's always just going to be the case. We're starting this off pretty similarly. There's an interesting choice here from console to bring the buck. We haven't seen any of this yet. So that second floor soft destruction, we're going to see even more of than we had previously. A lot of soft destruction on kitchen has been really successful for both sides. So I like doubling down on that from console. He's going to be able to just make great work of the floor over by train and mining room. Both those are really just going to be his once he can clear out any roamers that may be lurking there. Hope Banshee here, to speak of those roamers, is going to do a lot here. He's got this hatch open, but oh man, he just does not get the chance. Console making short work of him.
That might be your last hope. Literally. The player might not be able to come back for another round if they lose this. It could be very devastating to try and play it out if that's the case. A 5v4 early on. A minute of time has been bought, but you did lose a player. Player dropping now in front. It will go in the favor of Smashers, who'll fight Ace, but a refrag will come through. Phenomenal positioning by UCSD to not allow it to go uncontested. Smashers falling. A 4v3. Floor being busted out in train. They do finally have not a sledge, but a buck as an extra layer of being able to clear that out, and they do still have that hard breach as well, but Anubis will deny the score on the Kaid, will not be allowed to play in this round for very long. Shield still in play as well. It is a Vulcan shield. The Goyo is in play, so they do have the ability to shoot those out, where Albaclona could catch a player off guard. One will go out. A little bit of extra free points, which might just be just a saving grace for them. Just the tip of the cake, or the icing of the cake, as I guess to say, but Trip not looking so hot at the moment.
It looks like UCSD is really just coming back into their stride with a really dominant attack. They have control of the third floor very quickly right after taking out Hope Banshee. They've got full control of second floor, and with so much of first floor underneath these giant holes in the floor, they can take out a lot of operators. We've seen 3 of them down already. Trip taking a lot of damage, and finally getting his trade on Anubis. And there's one for Ape, but he is left alone against Console and Charles, both of whom have been on a tear, and the floors are just open all around him. As long as there's an operator up top, he is not safe, and Charles will finish it off for UCSD, sending them through this on a 2-0 victory.
2-0 victory. A good game to behold. I think we definitely saw the we definitely saw MCU, the Marymount, California side. They definitely had a better showing for themselves. Phenomenal job of actually taking the second map and putting some rounds onto the board. Anubis with a near 6,000 score point line there. 16 kills to his name. Disgusting. 4 rounds total is what the MCU side will be able to get for themselves. Reap, thank you very much for playing for us. I enjoyed casting for you. They did say thank you for the casting stream in the chat, which is what I'm going for. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. It has been a little bit of a later one. This is a game that is may or may not happen week to week in terms of this time slot. It did happen because the first one for time complications for the team's not able to do 2 games in the day. Rainbow6 Siege is a fun game to watch. We'll gladly do it more than once. Thank you very much for our emergency observer to come in here. CDC, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Patrick, for being our Monday Rainbow6 Siege producer. Thank you very much, Treasury, for joining me here in the booth. And thank you very much for both teams that really came out and the viewers that are coming out to support them as well. My name's been Infernosis, joined here by Treasury. This has been NECC Week 6 R6 2-0 for UC San Diego. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 Classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.